Well, here we go, everyone. Um, the smoking man that some may say they think he is God is back. And uh, what I wish to say is, a good friend, Jen Peters, she asked in a comment on a post I made the other day. And, I usually don't read all the comments, I'm so busy. But one thing she had asked is, she said, Rick, are you saying you are Jesus? That's what she asked me. I did not reply to that comment in the moment. However, I wish to say now that my reply to that would be, Jen, that I am perhaps could be considered as a Jesus plus. So, having said that, let no humility uh, prevent you from stepping into your divine prowess. Don't let anything suppress you. And, I preach this, if you will, and I teach it because it's so important. Again, we are about empowering the individual, your divine sovereignty. And to do that, you got to blast right through the restrictions of certain words here, like humility, um, egotistic, what have you. Blast right through them. Do not let them restrict you, because these words were here in place to do just that, suppress you and divide you and separate you from your divine sovereignty and your true connection to God and to the rest of the collective. So, thank you. Um, so, what a way to start a show, huh? There's probably some viewers out there got them faces and, these things, but let me say that I speak my truth, and that is why I'm here. And we are the light. And but there are times, when darkness uh, plays a very good role to learn lessons, and sometimes it is required. And it assists, in a hard way. But at the end of it, everything is good because of the value of the lessons that it brings at the end of it. Once one may get into the darkness for a while, as we all know, because what I teach and what I do is assist you in coming out of that darkness. What I do is I assist you to be your own savior. You do not need another savior, a guru, or any of this. And as many of you know, that is not what I am. I am a teacher to teach you to get back to yourself, discover your divine sovereignty, and to rise up in your own power. And all of you know that. And I have left such a value of teachings here behind thus far. But hey, it's going to get a lot better here in the near future. And what is currently happening is not to ever degrade anything or anyone, but there are levels of teachings. And having said that, because of this ascension and ever evolving consciousness, going back to your points of origin, with that, to retrace that back, you have to lift the veil and regain the memory of what you are. And, we are doing this incrementally here at this time. It is an ascension process, and everyone has a hard job, with this. But this is why we have teachers here. This is why I am here to, support you and to share with you all of the higher teachings to assist you to ascend. And that is why a lot of us are here. And we have such great teachers. And, among your great teachers, they teach the way I do. No conceit intended. We speak our truth. And, they are very beautiful teachers. And, and they also know the higher truths, as so does many of you. And that's what we're about. But we don't stop here. We are entering very beautiful, very exciting, and very powerful new areas with your ascension. And this will be coming up very shortly. So, the present and current things that were transpiring were instrumental and essential for this effect. They needed to occur. So everything is always in divine perfection with that. Now, having said this very quickly, that I do visit many of you because I am a very high divine being. I am a very, what else can I say with this? A divine being of light. But one way to recognize me in your presence, should I bilocate, you will feel me in the heart. If you see an image of me around you and you do not feel my great love in your heart, you know that that image is not me. I am a great being with full love. So this is one of your ways to discern, because having said that, through various ways, sometimes there can be projections that are not me. So use your discernment in that. Anyone new that may be watching this, for the most part, many of you know that. I have visited many of you, and by locating in the astrals, you know what the feeling is in your heart. You feel that love. That is my signature. So thank you. And I'll take this moment. Hi, everyone. Michelle, Daff, Janet, Karen, Stone. Hey, nice to see you, Stone, buddy, and Jewel. And, you know, thank you all, because we are all a team. There may be some here like I that has a certain role. It is very important. But hey, every role, every one of you has a role that is important too, and we all know that, and we work together, with assisting others and lifting them up, and that is what we are all about. So, and it's a very beautiful process with this. It's a tedious and strenuous process, because you have to unlearn uh, much that you were taught and conditioned to here. So we understand that, and I do have complete compassion with that. However, you know that, like my friend Hung says, you're a bulldozer, Rick, and yeah, keep paving the ways forward, because we're not going back, as you know. So, and what's been transpiring, I've just been so ecstatic, as all of you know, and just so happy, because there is no pressure from any of this, because I am a being of light. I'm a powerful creator. I know what is occurring, and it's essential that it is. Now, at this time, when I say that, all of you, please do not judge any that are against me. There is something very powerful and something very amazing that is occurring. What is occurring with some of the strongest angels that may be affected and attacking I at this time, what is occurring is they had to dip down to get rid of these deep energetic imprints. And when they come out of this, they are going to rise. And this is going to be the momentum that takes us into this next big shift. Now, the early indications are, at this time, we have already shifted upward towards that momentum. There was a pivot point at the bottom of the V, which you may wish to look at on a graph or a chart as the Holy Grail, the Mary Magdalene. So, on the bottom, go, all right, get over here. So, I'll draw a picture. But we got the feminine rising here. I just, let me tear this out. Okay. I, I love Amanda. She does this sometime, but I usually don't. Okay. Uh, Bottom. I got to write something on here. Bottom and shift. It might be backwards, but where we were. Okay. Try to explain this. Where we were. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Is that backwards? No, that's good. Okay. We were trying to do this. We were here. That's where we were. We were up on that high spot. Then what occurred is we come down to the bottom, right there. That's where we come down to. That's the bottom of the Mary Magdalene and the Holy Grail. Now, okay, I'll put a dot on to show you where we're at now. Okay, there you go. So there, you can see we're on our way back up. And look what's up here. Shift. So we're on our way back up. I'm getting some dates without getting full information on it. But some important dates here in the near future is May 4th and May 9th. At this time, I'm not given any information as per May 4th, but May 9th, it's limited information. It's something with the huge light that will um, come from the sun, a CME or whatever, when that turns around. There was a huge explosion 2 days ago on the back side of the sun of light. And it's very important to watch this. So, without receiving a lot of information in respect to that, and there is a reason. Although I may know, I don't draw on that because if I become definite and say that, um, it, it it changes how things happen. So I am here with a consciousness that is partially blocked to what happens in the future, if that makes sense to you, and that's what I am as well. But having said this, hey, we're headed for a huge shift. Now, the one indication with, the current feminine that had to drop down is a beautiful friend of mine, and she is an angel and a very powerful angel here in the physical. She had entered an area very similar to what uh, a lot of the Mary Magdalene and line and the feminine line had entered as well, and some, most are still in there. But this one powerful angel, she has ascended out of that a couple days ago, and let me say, in the physical, she is just beaming with the highest light and the highest prowess that I have seen in her yet during our duration here on the surface. So that is a significant indicator uh, for the ones that will be coming out of this, let's say, dark thread they were entangled in. So this is what they do. They come out of the other side stronger than ever. And what you need to do then is, when we're all back in that unity, there was only temporary separation. We're going places. Now, having said that, some of the things what you'll be seeing, which is already occurring, because the collective that are not caught up into this current turmoil, if you will, they are witnessing other things. Some of them as well as having distortions and cool things happening. Some with gifts elevating. So there is good things going on here on the lighter side and above that turmoil. So for those of you that are walking on the water above that turmoil, are staying in very powerful states. And from this, I'm beginning to get into contact with even new ones of the ground crew, if you will, the divine ground crew, which are very impressive. And also with this is the masculine, the quotient of the masculine that is now rising in this time is totally impressive as well. So we got a lot of, just good things going on. It's just amazing. Um, and it's so beautiful to see this and to see what's on the other side of it. So let's say, as our divine comrades, the divine feminine, as they began to rise up out of this current dark thread, please be there to understand and assist them as they raise. And I, as well, am here to assist any of them, and there is never a need for them to apologize. That is not what we are about. This had to happen. There is no one to blame. It happens for the good for all. So that is very beautiful, and that's what we are. We have full compassion and support for each other together as we come up out of this. Now, having said this, there was Renee, I visited you months ago. Yeah, and you felt my love. Thank you. Nothing fishy to my visit. Okay, Renee Harris, thank you. You were so beautiful in doing the portal work in New Zealand too, so we could get the QFS here going, right? You know, we got kind of on a pit stop here, but we still kept going forward. For intents and purposes, the present activation site, which one powerful lady that I know of has contacted me, is working on it remotely, but Uluru, we need to energize that up to lock in for the QFS. This RV has been put on hold as a result of the current vibrations uh, because of what was needed before we make the next shift. Now, with the divine plan, I'm not given most of the time what occurs in the future. It's on a need to know basis. So we trust and we keep moving forward. We really do not, I do not give times when the RV will come into place, and along with QFS and DFS. But what I can say is that we have seen confirmations that it was tangible with QFS things to certain degrees with ones, documented accounts. It is real, it's not fictitious. You are doing that. And also, saying this with the RV, to my knowledge, it was that close. We had the vibration up enough to bring it into fruition and to get to that timeline. It was that close. Now it might be that far away again, but hey, we get it eventually. And, one of the interviews I did with Linda several months ago, Father said for I to say that I will be on an RV timeline, that it is imminent, and for all sakes and purposes, that timeline is there. It's now existent. It has been there for perhaps quite a while, a year or so. It's just that we need to get the ones uh, vibration high enough for to get a good part of the collective in there and get a footing. Then we can haul in the rest as well if you wish to perceive it that way. And believe me, with the RV and all of these things, I know it was going on for years, but the pioneers of that, they kept it in they kept it and kept it energized to their degree to bring it into fruition, because it is, part of what begins the throwing off of the shackles for humanity. And not only the RV in conjunction with world politics change, and it all goes together. But that's not what this show is about. But I had to say that. So um, also, it's our current. I had a affirmation a little bit earlier today to begin the process of rectifying the whole situation. And one post I put out was, you know, put out for us to go to the inception point of what you could consider a demonic um, control that energized this whole Mary Magdalene hurt thing with the, the feminine that had to come up. So what we had to do is go back in and take that out of existence. It was divinely orchestrated that that was there to perpetrate these series of events, and no one, there is never any hurt. No one does not get hurt. That is only a humanoid perception, and we are in this ascension. You know that there is no death, or things are not as you were told they were. So, having said this, it was very important for this to occur. But now we are on our way up. We are getting rid of the inception point for that demonic presence or what have you. It cannot withstand our light. So, in unison, what I feel now, and some things I've been seeing, in the last few hours, is that I believe it's been broken. And what will occur is that the all of the negative and fear generated threads that were come off of that, they will begin to rapidly implode and in on themselves as well. And as the individuals that are part of that, they will start, waking up out of their slumber with it, out of that state of fear that they went in. And again, it's a process, and that's where we can go in and help our comrades with this. And with that, I thank every one of you so much, all of our divine angelic feminine that dipped down to assist with this clearing that needed to be done. These angels, you divine feminine, could not go forward with all of this hurt and pain in there, in the suppression from an energetic imprint, and it needed to be cleared. All of you sacrificed at the soul level to go down in to do this clearing so that all can rise together. So, actually, that is, why I am so happy. And I know many more of you know this as well, and you knew what was going on with it. So, just so gracious to see such a beautiful thing occurring. And I thank everyone, that was involved in this, and even the ones of you, that remained abstract from the energy and saw it what it was at the neutral level, and then the other ones that absolutely defined it for what it is. And let me say, I've had maybe dozen contacts or more through private messages over the past week or so, with them showing exactly what was going on with it, and that they saw and they knew, and lending any support that we might have needed at this time for the light. So everything is perfect with it. And so I just love all of you, and that's where we're going with things. So I had a couple notes wrote down. Oh, okay. Also, as ones begin raising up out of this negative dark thread that was created. As a result, we are going to be introducing even new higher teachings and higher experiences. And this is in line with the Kundalini and, your Merkabas being activated. And we needed also to have this platform, what some may consider was a bad thing, so that we have a springboard to launch in the new higher teachings in respect of this. And it's not enough, even though I have written and others have written about it here. There is nothing like having the experience. So that's how it's introduced. The experience is introduced usually, and then the information later. However, having said that, I had alluded to all of these things in the past, to give a heads up, which was great. Some of you took note of it that needed to, and you understood it and accepted it as your own truth as well from your divine sovereignty, and you also knew what was coming. So that was great. So as a result, we got new and higher things coming up. We got Real Angels page. The members are beginning to grow again after there were, it wasn't really that many left. We stayed, I don't know, maybe 100 or so was all that left Real Angels, but that number's on the way back up. Might have been a couple hundred. So that is raising again. We have in the Real Angels more than ever. I believe we might at this time have 21 admins in there. I believe before it might have only been 13 at one point. And out of the admins, to my knowledge, it's pretty well equal, half feminine and half masculine, the way that it needs to be. Let me say that I did not intentionally do this when I was getting the other admins, looking for uh, that exact proportion of the feminine representation in the masculine. But let me say the end result was divinely perfect, that it looks like it's almost half and half. So it just so beautiful with that. Now, having said that, we got a great bunch of great. You guys, with your questions, please just hang off and I'll answer some questions um, a little bit later on because I only got a short feed and you guys got important stuff, but it goes up because so many are commenting. So if you can just hold off for a bit and then we can look at some questions. Yeah, and thank you for that. So yeah, getting back to the admins, I thank you for all of the admins that stood up, the new ones answering the request, and perhaps a clarion call, if you will, for the light to secure, one of our platforms of the light for the valuable teachings. So just a great respect for you, and just to openly let the others know that part of the dark attack, like it never is an attack, but I'll just use the label that it was attack. The intent was, hit the Real Angels admins, cause chaos in there, get them all to leave, and then attack the page by negativity and all of these sort of things. So that was all orchestrated, and I guess we could say that's back under control of the light, and it's stronger than it ever was. The quotient now, as a result of what has all transpired, it is raising and raising. And this is also indicative of our shift. Now, with any our uh, Real Angels admins that were there and left, and I thank you so much, and I understand fully your reasons that you left then, and there is never a need to apologize for anything. Everything works out perfect, and those of you that left, you were supposed to leave. So everything is in divine perfection. And I love you all for that. I love all of the angels on that page and all of the angels everywhere. And because, in fact, we all are. So immense gratitude and love for all that are supporting, at least one of the light platforms. But I'll just say no, all of the light platforms. There are so many pages and there are so many, uh, groups and platforms out there of the light, and it's growing every day. which is also indicative of how the times must change, and they're changing very rapidly. So much beauty with all of this. Hi, Colleen. You just joined. My great divine friend, Colleen. You'll have to watch the rest, perhaps in the morning. Yeah. So, having said that, just have a look, see if I had some other notes. I do got some higher teachings already written up, uh, but they will not come out here yet because there is a divine timing with them. So, to let you know, I have begun, let's say, a more inclusive instruction manual with much more knowledge because as a result of also what transpired, it's given us more divine knowledge of what ones were experiencing also in this current havoc, um, divine havoc it was. So we are going to be getting good snippets of others' experiences that we can put these all together and very quickly establish and purvey uh, a database of knowledge and what is going on with that. So it's so beneficial. Uh, I can also say at this time what's occurring as well is that others are already stepping up to through private message. Beginning to, share about their kundalinis, about the energy and how we need to speak about it. And we do because, as you know, it's so important. It is it's your ship out of here, literally. And we need to know how to uh, balance that energy and as we know, the old basics is when your Kundalini, is activated, you're to push that energy up, get your vortex going within your Merkaba and balance your energetic field, your chakras, and all of that. That is kind of old stuff, but yeah. So it's great with that as well. So I already started working on that, but it's divine timing before we bring that out because again, uh, there needs to be a pretty good what's the word here? What I wish is for as most out of this current slumber before I put that information out. I wish for it to make the most important divine impact, and I wish for it to also perhaps come out at a time just when it will not be rejected because it's so important to uh, the feminine that were uh, involved in this current havoc as well, in the divine havoc. So it's going to be important, and I'd like to kind of time that. So having said that, we got good stuff and coming out. Uh, what else do I got here? Yeah. I'll just one more little thing I have written here before I take some questions. Um, Messages I received, from very respectable teachers and ones that held that certain level of strength with higher consciousness while this other thing played out. They held the space so that we would not lose ground because of this negative thing that had to play out. So they were the support to hold us suspended here in time, if you will, to look at. So what I wish to say is that and even from our collective, their messages was do not, for I, not to be distracted and involved in any of the negative things, what was occurring. And that is also, I had known this. And so, having said that, it's also why I did not address allegations and things, because there was no real need for it, because there is no truth in them. Some are misconceptions, but during the event of uh, what the monsters that were created as a result, they are now to a point that they, out of desperation with that energy, let me say, what's created was a very blatant untruths that quickly are, let's say, just shown for what they are, but I don't need to do that with it. But just to let you know at what point that they uh, were at with that. See, you need to understand, and this is so important, what this attracted was not only the divine feminine that had to heal the hurt for the other divine feminine. We were down in 4D when this occurred, and what happened is that it attract. There are still dark forces and minions in the 4D. So uh, as a side effect of this important divine instrument that occurred, there were also come in minions because they feed off the fear generated. You can look at it that way. So there were some minions, some dark things that come in, and they kept fabricating things and to try to keep the fear generated and keep it going, because actually they were loving it. And also what we refer to, as many of you have known in the past, what you refer to as trolls as well. But so it had attracted a lot of them, which are adding into the mix. But this is the implosion will occur, and these are parts of it. These are actually indicators of the implosion of it, and we get it over with and we move on. So, I'm going to lay up a smoke. I'm ready for some questions, I guess. So, whenever you're ready, I'll scroll and have a look, see what we got. Oh, one other thing. What I may require temporarily, if Linda Summers, that used to interview me, she is kind of like separated herself at this time as well. I'm not given a time when she will be back. I know she will, because she is a very powerful, divine feminine as well. But I may require a neutral person to interview uh, if we need to look at some new questions that will be arising in these sort of things. So that may be a requirement in the future. I'm not given if that's what I need to do here, or if it would be if it would be necessary, but I'm just putting that out there. So thank you. Okay. Christine Wittenberg, we do need to speak about it. Yes, indeed, totally. There's so many questions, I believe you're referring to, the dark thread. There's needs to be a great understanding of what occurred. Um, over the last several days, I have seen to that effect higher teachings and higher perspectives of that already coming out. So that has already begun. And I thank all of you for putting that out as well. So, yeah, let's just have a look here and scroll down. Okay. Claudia Lakotos, do we know how long the slumber is to last? And Claudia, as I keep, as I keep in a high area with this, I'm not usually given times. However, with this, again, if you had saw my diagram, um, what you may see is that we're on the upward shift. It's possible at this time that that date, May 9th, it might be when we're out of this, or that might be a huge influx of light at that time to take us out of it. Uh, we are, we have come up out of this. We are on our way up. So, because of what's transpiring, but I'm always about forward and positive. So, it depends too. I suggest one thing to keep in mind that you are very strong creators and you are manifesting. So, if you're energizing and watching the negative things, what you're actually doing is energizing it and keeping it into existence. If you're at an area where it resonates with you that you know the higher truth, then you are more efficient if you put out the higher perspectives. Don't attack any of them or anyone. That's not what we do. But put out the higher perspectives. Then what it does, it gives the others two sides, two perspectives instead of, just one. And also, you're not energizing the negative things. So that assists in getting rid of that slumber a lot quicker. And always have respect of those that are caught up in it, and all of your comrades, and stay in that important place of love with it. Always. Anything, nothing is supported less than love and good intent. It must implode here. And having said that, any of you that may be watching this that are still caught up into that, this is not a warning. This is an assisting mechanism to help you get out of it. Remember what I've said and what so many have said, that it's set up here for karmic implosion, meaning that if you are powerful and you do something just like a white lie, it has repercussions. It can come back 10 times, multiple times of what you put out, and it could come back in negativity, because what you're playing with, you're so powerful now with your manifestation and creator abilities, that you will attract many negative things. And you might lie, but what will occur, you'll attract anything that it's negative. That doesn't mean you're going to attract just lies. You're going to attract the polarity to yourself. You may find you'll become sick, and there's many things that may occur. I'm not doing this to you. You'll actually do it to yourself. So it's important that you know this and recognize this. The light does not attack, and that's not what's occurring. But if you're energizing the darkness because you're a powerful creator and you keep that alive, you are creating that in your reality and you are attracting it. So, out of compassion, I give you that if that helps you to raise. I hope that some of you are at that level that you're able to engage your higher self and your higher perspective, and have risen enough above the fear mechanism to see that. And I'm fully open for any of you. If you need my assistance, perhaps it's better. There's many other teachers out there. If you wish, for the time being, go with those, and, just, and if anything that I'm putting out benefits you, you don't have to like it or love it, but just you read it. No one has to know that you read it, but it's good for you as well. So, anything that assists. So thank you for that, Claudia. Jay, That was a simple question, and I spoke for many minutes on it. Thank you. Okay, what else we got here? No, the feed I got here, guys. It's not a great feed, but we always get to what needs to come out. Oh, okay. Christine says she was referring to Kundalini and people's aversions to speaking about sexual energy. Yes, Christine, there's a lot that is starting to pile up in support of this new information and things coming out as well. Yes, and we're at that point because it's having greater effects too. That one need to know this because you're becoming more sensitive as an empath. And when you began intertwining with a collective consciousness, there's energies going everywhere. And you need to know things and you need to have discernment with it as well. And because, of so many things, but also on our way back, you are active um, while you're awake in the day, but also when you're asleep. Your consciousness and your energetic field, it does not sleep. It's only the humanoid organic body that does. So it's important to know that as well. And it's also important, that's why it's important that when you begin this journey with Kundalini's activated, that very quickly you get rid of any negative or any fear-based things so that you keep your uh, Kundalini stable and that uh, the energy is not going out, that it's focused on your whole Merkaba and aligning and balancing it very quickly. Then once you have that done, there is no emissions from you that are not divine because you're not chaotic and you're not affecting things adversely. Thank you. Thank you for that, Christine. Okay. Thank you, Diana. She said, I've stopped watching all who's talking about this. And that is your guidance. You become neutral on that. And yeah, for any of you, some of you may feel compelled to watch it. By all means, you follow your guidance if you need to look at things of it. Because I said there's so much value contained in what is currently transpiring as well. And the more of you that can take the value and knowledge from it so that you get the higher perspectives, then you're able to purvey and share that to others as well so that we can keep moving forward with this ascension together and your divine prowess that you're able to get more and more of it as we go up. This is a mission. Again, it is an ascension, but it's also a mission to assist other parts of humanity in the least. And your rewards, as you know, are great at the end of this. And what we need to see, I had the last interview the other night I had with Todd. We started to touch on the reversing of aging. He started seeing other aspects of Morgan and how she could revert. And, also at that time, I had mentioned when Sharon was here with I could see her doing it. She did not witness it herself, but I could see it. And that told me of her ability to do it. And I've seen it in the past. And it is real and it is very beautiful. It's not an illusion, it's rather an indication of just one of your abilities and capabilities. It's no longer what you heard perhaps in the beginning of your journey that you could reverse the age and process, no sickness. You heard that with no testimony to that effect. But what I'm saying now, because it is true, we are getting testimonies of that. And these testimonies are very important to share with others. And again, please do not keep yourself locked in a closet with all of your beautiful, profound experiences. Share them together, put them on Real Angels, if you will. It's so important to get them out because it's for the benefit and the good for all. So that's what I suggest. But each one of you must follow your inner guidance and what feels right for you to do so. But it's all important. I wish to say that. Thank you. Okay, I'll scroll down here a little bit further and see what else we have. Um, yeah, okay. This is Ra Luna Stone. She says, but we have to unveil our shadow to become that light. Um, you're absolutely correct. And, before this divine havoc occurred in the past, only several months ago, I started giving out that information about their shadow and how they could be introduced to it in the night. And because that's usually, you're in that state uh, of mind and also with the body, that then that's where this thing occurs. What occurs? Yes, you have what is an actual energy, which is your shadow self, which is your negativity and your fear. But what occurs, so you had half was negative within you and half was positive. But once you reach that level of purity and changing yourself to positive, the negative, it has a form and it will be black and like a black figure by your bed. It gets pushed out because you are no longer negative. You had changed your polarity to light, to positivity, and it cannot be there. So in the beginnings, as you go to 51% light, there are times it'll flick out of you and you'll see it outside of you, your shadow negative energy. It takes a form. And also with that, um, when that occurs, then it's a very beautiful sign of your development that you have gone over the 51% of the balance of negativity and positivity. You have gone 51% to the light over the darkness within you. So it's a very intricate, uh, important part of your process, but it's a joyous thing when after you get through that, because then you understand that, and then you keep working on getting rid of the other fragments of darkness that may still be there within you. It doesn't mean that they're sinister dark, but what it means, it's aspects of fear and negativity, the way you may treat a person, but even just by being impatient, it does have an actual space of negative energy. And this is what you're clearing from your fields. So, and during, so Ra Luna, during, unveiling the shadow of yourself and coming to that light, this is the first uh, steps at succeeding at integrating over 51% of the polarity of your energetic field to positive, to light. And it's a very beautiful thing. And we are at the point with this ascension upon the surface that the old days of that balance of positive and negative, no, you're beyond that. You don't need that. You need that to stay here in the 4D because that is a balance. But if you're ascending and going forward, for every bit of that negativity and dark side that you let go, then you rise. It's like it's ballast, sand in a hot air balloon. As you keep dumping out these sandbags, cutting the ties to them, you rise, and you no longer need to be in these lower timelines with that to give an example. So thank you, Ra. That was a very beautiful, important question. And Sharon, hi Sharon, I love you. She says, stay in the highest vibration of light in this now. And yeah, it is so important, as all of you know, just keep holding the space and keep being the light uh, until this unwinds back, that we all go forward, which I say it may be a matter of days. It's already reversing, so we'll see what goes on with that as well. Thank you, Sharon. Okay. Michelin Clausen. Hi, Michelin. She has a question, or I believe. I'll read it. With the shift currently happening on the planet and all that is happening on the sun, is expected some things that will happen very soon. Anything that we should do to prepare to help others that will not be fully ready? Or will we be doing a more spiritual level? Well, Michelin, there are so many levels of the soul's development here. And having said that, some are staying, some are going. It's a whole mixed bag. And the best that to trust you asked anything that we should do to prepare to help others that will not be fully ready. Actually, with this ascension, the way it works is that those that need to be ready will be ready for their next level, but that can also mean that perhaps Michelin, you receive divine guidance to help this one, and that's what ascertains that they are ready. So it's always ascertained that everyone is always in their perfect place. However, it is facilitated as well to be that way. But an excellent question. Um, and you also ask, or we'll be doing in a more spiritual level. Well, Michelle, what we're transitioning now, yeah, into this more spiritual level, but we're still, however, in 4D. So there are still 4D attachments to certain things. So it's still a process as long as we're in here, but also as we're transitioning, yeah, it's going more spiritual. And this is also why I am also just putting out about the higher teachings will be coming. So that is great as well. So thank you for that. So we have Gail Lelika. The energies this week have been extremely dark in nature. A message to all other DFs, divine feminines, keep posting your truth. Yes, yeah, okay, and thank you for that, Gail. Yeah, and keeps, yes, because it's always benefit. It doesn't, the energies this week have been extremely dark in nature. Yeah, Gail, one thing on the Real Angels page, it was very dark, some of the things that were put out there, and we cleaned that up because of the energetic imprint. And there's ones that are not needed to get involved in that, and the energy just lowers their vibration down and causes other things. So yeah, keep posting your highest truth with this. So thanks, Gail, and everyone to assist and keep in the highest. Angela Burke. Hi, Angie. I haven't seen you for years. She says, I believe my 15-year-old daughter is an empath. How can I help her to embrace it? Well, Angie, with this, to embrace that, it is, let me say, it's much easier now to embrace it than what it could have been 10 years ago. because there's so much more information will be coming out on that, and we are rapidly evolving and integrating into the timelines here in your now, in your reality, more information on this. But where your daughter is, 15 years old, she already come here, as you know, with gifts intact. And it's here that she will learn how to use them for the futures. So this is very special. And you ask, how can I help her to embrace it? Well, by learning everything, Angela, and you're in an excellent place because the empath topic is very important at this time and will be coming up here in the near futures with things I will be putting out about it. So get as informed as you can, understand her. When she tells you something, monitor the feelings, get used to what they mean, but also have fun with it. Understand it's for good reasons. In the past, there would be a label on someone was an empath. They'd say it's like being in hell. Really, it's not. It's part of your divine gifts. And once you understand them and know how to work with it, it's a very beautiful divine gift, not only in assisting others, but many divine things. In short, being an empath, you feel, you can feel what another feels. It goes to deepening degrees. For example, your daughter might walk into a hospital, there might be a man with a broken leg. All of a sudden, she'll feel a pain in her leg. So it's good for her to start making those connections to where she may be getting physical pain from, look outward. And also with that, if she's in a lineup at a grocery store and, let's say she's very happy and all of a sudden she feels angry or impatient, what she needs to do is perhaps just look around her, see who looks like that they might be angry, or get her to pinpoint where she's getting that feeling from. And then it's a cue that if it's someone angry, maybe your daughter, if she's funny like you, Angie, just say something comical to that angry person and it lightens them up. So you can have fun with being an empath. It's not a curse. No, it isn't. Uh, it's very beautiful with it. So thank you for bringing that up because that is also setting up for newer things we'll have to go with this in the future. So thank you. Um, Raw Luna Stone, she says, can you discuss spiritual bypassing? She says, what is it? Well, Raw, I right now in this consciousness, I don't have a definition for it. I could surmise but or speculate, but I'm not going to do that because with this, something just feels that it's not it doesn't feel that perhaps what it's defining is accurate. So thank you for that. Very interesting, Rob. But no, I will not comment on that. I'm not knowledgeable right at this time on that concept. But it's always great, to have these. And in fact, I'm going to write that down and spiritual bypassing and check on that, um, later because I am intrigued myself um, on what this is. And, if this topic like that is out there, it's good to be for the teachers informed, on every topic. Then you're most efficient with it, as many of you know. So I thank you so much for that. So I can look at it and see what the definition of it is. And, perhaps here in the future, offer a perspective or even an explanation or information on it. Um, Nicole Jumpy, she says her Kundalini was raised in 2015, but she has broken 4 discs since then. Will my Kundalini will still work? Yes, the answer is, Nicole, once it is activated, it does not matter what happens to the physical vessel. You have an energetic field which you do separate from the physical vessel. So, Nicole, even though you may not feel it, this occurs. Many that has Kundalini's activated, they only feel it for a week, then they go for years, but it's always there. It always is. So know that, and no concerns in that area whatsoever. So, for you saying that your Kundalini's activated, that means you're ascending, and you're not given how long going to be doing these things, but know that, yeah, your spaceship has started, and nothing hurts that. It's all energy, and your divine energy and makeup of that, it is indestructible. So never a concern. Once you got it activated, girl, you're on your way. You got your spaceship started. You just don't know when takeoff is, and no one's really given that information. But it's great. Thanks. Okay, so thank you for that. Jasmine said, "I don't believe your physical body can prevent ascending," and and that is correct, Jasmine, because the certain things do occur that assure when you're ascending that if you're ascending with the vessel, this current vessel intact, it will be assured that it is kept to the degree that it needs to be. There's a couple different things that play out with this, because sometimes all do not, let me say, in the past, some ascend through what would appear the death process, where they leave a body behind or whatever, and they pick one up on the other side. But what's left behind, people that are not supposed to know, they'll say they pass. So there, with this ascension, there are different things, but for the most part, with the ones that are developing very rapidly, you are taking these physical vessels with you into the other dimensions. So there's not one answer to that. It depends on the soul level and on the individual what they have chosen at this time. What I can say is, uh, perhaps several months ago, there was a lot more at the soul level that were going to stay on one of the other 4D timelines, but they had made choices no to ascend. And when they did that, it created another wave of them coming out of the masses of ones that wanted to prepare their physical vessels and do their inner work in ascend. So it was very interesting to see that as well, what was chosen at the soul level. Kimberly Hall, she says, "Were you able to answer my question? I got cut off, so not sure if you did." No, I didn't, Kimberly. So you may wish to put it in here again. And, I have many questions that are coming up in the feed, so I'm uncertain if I'll get to it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, Daphne, or sorry, no, Dawn Ann Chase. Uh, she says, "I always hear no one will be left behind, but if I've never seen my shadow self by my bedside or anywhere for that matter, and I've been in a negative loop for the last 2 weeks, what does that mean? Could I be left behind?" Not no. Let's put it. Let's get right to the point of it, Don Ann Chase. That no, anyone that's supposed to go is not left behind. You do your best, and you just keep following that guidance, and you don't even have those thoughts with that, and everything is in. See, there is no bad or there is no wrong, and that's where you need to be with your perception and trust. And the way to get there is to trust with it and know that you do everything perfect. So even though you've been caught in a negative loop for the last 2 weeks, no, you are always able to redeem yourself to go forward. And it's by your actions and, all the things that you need to do that are in line with the positive, and you know how to raise your vibration. For example, if you take a day and just decide to be happy all day, and no matter if someone shakes their fist at you, you say I love you. You watch the events of all that day. It's very powerful because you'll have the most happy day because you are energizing it with that higher vibration, for example. So it's very great. Okay, this is a good one, but thank you for that question. Very important. Uh, Mihu Kihu Esku. He says, "What's going on today, man? I got turned around in many ways and going to the city. Uh, oh, I lost it. Someone else come in here. I had it pinned, but I lost it. Uh, Anyways, Mihu, I don't know what your full question was, but let me say there are distortions, yes, and timelines rapidly changing as well. Uh, the huge affirmation that I put out and the light response to that had a very quick effect on the timeline. So that could explain some what happened. It caused good distortions in time and places. It also affected vibration and everything once we released uh, most of that entity. So there was great things occurred today. So thank you for that confirmation. Um, okay, I'm trying to Pauline Clulo. She says she is struggling with removal of a dark energy she manifested since childhood. Uh, she almost had it out of her, but just won't detach. It had her suicidal thoughts and then physical pain. And it says she was attacked by the dark since a little girl. Any suggestions, please? Uh, Pauline, in the beginning when you were attacked, yes, that was by the dark, but since 2012, everything changed. Many of you were targets prior 2012 for this time. Uh, Pauline, because you are here right now, you have the ability to overpower any monster that you may have manifested by um, trusting fully in your connection and to Creator, the highest power you believe in. Rule out any other information, any false beliefs, any religion. Trust, if it's God or Creator, whatever you call that higher power. Just keep yourself connected to God, the higher power, whatever that may be, and trust that, but also know that it's very important not to judge yourself in that manner as well, because as you become, let's say, you're becoming stronger in your mental abilities at creating your reality. Uh, the longer that you allow it to exist in there, the longer it will. The best way is to counter it and saying, no, it does not exist. If you feel it, you get rid of that because there is a mastering. that you need to do with this so that you can overpower that, and and that will be a mastery that helps you to ascend higher. Now I lost your I had your comment pinned here, but it scrolled up. So uh, Pauline, I know you had something else there, but thank you for that. Oh, thank you, Sharon. My eyes, they're showing as blue, she says. Change is occurring. Well, thank you, finally. You know what they were putting out, what was occurring in several of the videos I had done, in the last week or two. My eyes, if you would look at them, when I'm here doing the video, they're blue. They're the pretty blue, yeah. But when I would look at the videos later, or the lives and some others, they were seeing that my eyes were brown. Um, Part of that reason what I'm given why that was is because again I'm a powerful creator and I do emit a powerful energy from my eyes. And if I would have been with my eye color showing up as strong, it's emitting light. I give light to you. Anyone that watches, as you know, you feel my light. I do not take light from anyone. I actually energize you. And having said that, part of the way that I do that is also through my eyes, and I also um activate some kundalinis and trigger in good ways through my eyes as well. Uh, the reason why they looked brown is also because of different timelines and who the viewers may be, that perhaps they don't need all of me like I am now, that they only need a little bit of what I say. So then the eye color may not be there as noticeable, so it's not distracting. So it does depend on the audience, and it does depend on if I'm allowed to divinely interfere, with the current period that was just going on. If I come out here with my light shining like I am, tonight, and emitting that, well, then it prolongs what needs to occur. So I'm kind of held back divinely like that. So to give you a little explanation, but your eyes are important as well. You know that, right? The eyes are what is it? The thing to the soul. Yeah, you can look right into the soul, and that is true. And you see the love in there. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, having a look here. I got a little bit of battery left. I'll look at a few more questions. Keeping an eye on the time. We're not doing too bad. Um, so, who's the? Okay, I'd like to respond to this. It's a comment from Dawn Ivy. She says, "I have no doubt I, as divine feminine, am being attacked." Dawn says. She says she can feel the negativity around her, which many can, Dawn, at this time. Yeah, it's also part of your reality that you'll subject yourself to as well. Use your heart, your discernment feature. If you go on Facebook or if you go out in the city, you go outside, if it doesn't feel good, just don't go against that. Go where your heart wants to go in anything that you do, and then you can lessen it, because also these are guidance mechanisms. Sometimes if you don't feel like going to a movie, that means you're not supposed to go. So don't restrict that. It might mean you need to stay home and receive an important phone call, which is part of your higher timeline. So you do have a bit of free will to the choices that you can make here to make it more favorable for you. Now, you say that your divine masculine is also being attacked in different ways. Um, Prayer and positive energy appreciated. Thank you, angels, sending love and light. Dawn, I will send my high vibration to you and in your divine masculine at this time as well. And know that you have everything within you just by doing and two of you together just saying nope, you cannot be attacked, stand in your divine sovereignty, and don't ever forget you have connections to angels, but always say angels of light. Like if you're saying Archangel Michael, come in and help, make sure you say Archangel Michael of light. And one of the reasons for that is because what the darkness had done on these levels is that uh, they would make like a replica of Archangel Michael, and they would set it off on an energetic thread with information out there. And again, with the darkness, it's set up for trickery and to deceive. And but what occurs is you quickly overcome that, and you create an assurance by saying, "Archangel Michael of light," or of love, whatever way, always of the light. So call in your teams. You're not alone. You have the interdimensional assistance at this time, and you know, put the intent in your heart what you wish to do, and start using some of your divine powers you have. Thank you. Okay, try to. Okay, Lori Hartram. Thank you, Lori. Your message popped right up here in the perfect place. Thank you. Divine timing. Okay, so what Lori Hartram gives to us is she says a spiritual bypass or spiritual bypassing is a, in quotes, tendency to use spiritual ideas and well, it just went. I lost it. I'll look it up and do a show on it perhaps in the future, but it got unpinned, Lori, and it went right up. So that means perhaps it's not supposed to be part of this show in this now. But thank you. Um, have a look here and see if what else do we got? See Kate Jeffrey joined. Hi, Kate. Much love to you, girl. Much love. See who else we have here. Connie Bryson, I believe. When are we leaving, Rick? Connie, I wish I knew as well, girl. But keep saying soon. How much more work do we got to do? Many are ready, I'd say. So I can't give you a date on that, Connie. But if we all keep hoping and put our intent in for soon, well, perhaps we'll be allowed to manifest that. Is what I suggest. Uh, Claudia Lacatos. Uh, she's oh no, she was replying to Lori. Okay, about ayahuasca, and it just went anyway. Okay. Um, see Dana Hawkins, and I see she's got a. Okay, we got okay. Kate Jeffrey got a comment here. If I can get it pinned. Trying to pin Kate your comment so I can comment on it, but it won't pin. It keeps going. So Kate, saying it's looking kind of negative, Kate, saying come back to your human, Rick. No, Kate, you know, as I proclaim openly, I'm much more than perhaps you ever think that I was. But what I will say in the future, anyone that is doubting, you will come to see. So what I suggest is do not uh, make a judgment on a certain moment in time. That it's best to remain neutral and watch what occurs. Because if you make if what right here, if you think that that is the only truth, well, after it goes along and you get more information, you may arrive at another truth and see that this truth that you had here was not a truth at all, that it doesn't apply. So you need to be very careful, is what I suggest. Do not have preconceived notions, Kate, is what I suggest, because the truths are forever evolving for anyone in this ascension. See, you are evolving out of everything that you knew, societal norms, and all of this. And when one begins, some of them begin their spiritual journey by going down what they call the rabbit hole, and that is, for many, is where they're clearly showing that everything here is not as it seems. It's where you begin to learn your truth, and it's important to not pass a judgment, because for yourself, like Kate, if you pass a judgment on a certain time, you could restrict yourself to that. And there's so much new information that's not been released to the surface yet in conjunction with this ascension. And if you don't keep open minded on things, what you can do is kind of keep yourself in a box. But everything is divinely assured, and I know, Kate, you have your Kundalini activated. That means you are going. So everything is assured that you do. And, for the very fact that you are here now asking questions means that, you are ready to uplift and come out of perhaps what you were into with the connection with what had to transpire uh, for that aspect of the divine feminine. So, having said that, Kate, again, I thank you so much, and I love you so much for perhaps that sacrifice of yourself for that short period of time to do this. And all of us are here as you all raise up out of this and become much stronger than you ever were before. And it's going to be very glorious and very impressive, and all of you are going to be very happy. Uh, Kate Jeffrey says, answer Janelle's video, Rick. Kate, Janelle's video is a lot of. Kate, the way things really work is that by answering something that is dark and negative charge, that's not how the light works. The light does not need to defend itself nor attack. It doesn't need to do that, because anything negative and dark is set up on an implosion mechanism to rapidly implode upon itself, because divine light, positive energy is what has the priority right now on these timelines. And anything that is against that, that is negative or contrary, it has to implode. So, um, with your so with this, no, I don't engage and energize negative threads. I suggest, Kate, to go back and watch the beginning of the show, and there's lots of valuable information in this live for you. Apparently, you did not yet watch the beginning of it. So, Okay, Janelle. Okay, girl, you got a good question here. Thank you for this, Janelle, because this is a very good question. Uh, if I can get it pinned, Father won't allow me to get your guys' questions pinned. But what uh, what Janelle said, I believe she said she thought she heard me say that darkness or something from the 4D was quarantined. Darkness was quarantined to the 4D. That is absolutely correct, Janelle. Where you are at now is in the 4D, and it is there, and it's there for benevolent reasons as well. In reality, none of you uh, are in any harm from it. Because when you go back to your full knowledge and your full divine sovereignty, Janelle, to what you really are, then you know all the truth. But having said that, where you're able to be kept into a state of fear, being in these lower densities, that's what keeps you there. When you have fear, when you have anger, when you have blame, and these sort of things, and when you feel that you need to attack to protect, well, actually, you do not trust fully in divinity and the light of what you are. So, what that does then, it lowers the veil back down, and it switches the mentality that it's susceptible to many energetic like threads that come in. Like if you're negatively charged, what will occur is you'll begin to attract the negativity. So this is why it's so very important to be positive and keep open-minded without judgment going forward. See, if you have a preconceived notion on what something is, the moment you do that, you define it and you restrict it. But if you do that from a 4D state, then it cannot evolve into the 5D where you may be going, where the higher answers and truths are. So this is why it's so important not to pass a judgment on any others. And with that, Janelle, as you know, the basics of spirituality is to not judge another and to not energize the darkness. These are very important things. So thank you. Okay, Kimberly. Oh, you asked your question again and I missed it. Yes, I did. I guess this is not one. But anyways, I love you too, Janelle, and we all come back together here in the near future. So I can assure you that. So I love you. All right, find some other questions. You like seeing me smoking a cigarette, Milan? Yeah, well, yeah, it's still, yeah, smoking angel, huh? Yeah, it's comical, but that's what I do. Yeah, yeah, the smoking angel. So, Kate, and what you girls are doing on there, like Kate, you're just, and Janelle, you're putting so much questions in, and what's happening is that I cannot see your questions because you are trying to flood this, which is great. It's a great time for me to go. It was just 1 minute 33, or it was just 1 hour, 33 minutes and 33 seconds. So perhaps it's time to go. Let me check the battery here. Yeah, we got 55 minutes, but 34% remaining. So, anyone else got any questions? I'm not engaging Janelle and Kate in any attack and that sort of thing. So, I just don't do that. I am of the light and I am positive and love, and I just don't get involved to the degrees with that. So, thank you. Uh, Donna Hawkins. Hi, Donna. She got a question here. Uh, she says, if our Kundalini is activated, this means I'm going home, shifting with you, right? what it means, Don Ann, is that yeah, once your Kundalini is activated, that also is a confirmation that you are ascending. So, and it's very beautiful and very perfect thing as well. You know, with some, when the Kundalinis are activated, it can be very intense, and with some others, it's just enough to notice that it's activated. But I wish to say this, Dana, is that with just because some of the viewers may not have your Kundalini activated at this time. If you're going in 2 days' time, it can be activated very quickly in the blink of an eye. But it is important to have that pure love aspect. So it's great if ones are, you know, you're still on your journey, but your Kundalini may be not activated yet. You can keep doing all of your inner work at that time, and you know, to be prepared per your guidance on it. So uh, everything is always perfect, and there's no need of anyone to go into a state of worry, because that is fear, and what that actually does, it prolongs you being prepared. So you just got to say, don't worry about anything. Everything is cool, and everything happens in divine timing. You know your heart is pure. You are connected to your divine sovereignty. You know that creator is real, and you know that's all you really need. In believe in yourself and your connection to creator, and know that everything happens in perfect divine timing, and that there is nothing to fear, and nothing is really bad for what you are. It's only bad is a human perception for these lower dimensions to define something that is negative or fear based. But you are going out, many of us are going out of these lower dimensions with that. So there, where you're going is that there just is no bad, it does not exist. Because again, for bad to exist, it has to have a negative charge or even a dark charge. So when you eliminate that, uh, no, it doesn't exist where we're going. Then you're going to 5D. So Kate is saying something about the truth is inside of all of us, not within you, not within I. She says redirect others to their heart. Well, Kate, if you go back again and look at the first of the show, this is where I spoke about the heart. So, what you're doing is, without going back and looking at the first of the show, you're beginning to make assumptions. So, it's it would be best for you to go back and look at the first of the show, please. And many of your questions, what you're asking, you may find all of the answers in there. So I suggest for anyone that may be coming, rising up now out of the current divine havoc, to watch this program in its entirety, uh, to go back to the beginning, because my battery on this laptop is getting low. I am on linear time. I am in 4D here to make this, and I've been on here about an hour and 40 minutes. So those are a couple, three reasons. They're not excuses, they're reasons. I love you. So everyone, I am going to wrap this up. I've been on here long enough, you know, and so I love you all, and it's just such a beautiful, exciting time. And you know, again, all of the all of the divine feminine and masculine, I love you all, and you all play such an important role in this next shift. And we do this all together, you know, to the extent that all means with it. So it's very important to, just do your inner work and do your best and be your best and remain in your states of love. And that gets you there quicker. So, having said that, I love you all. And kisses and lots of winks, and because real good stuff coming. And we'll see you all soon. So, have a great night. Thank you. Bye. Oh, it's 11:11. Beautiful time.